let's keep spook season going with the Addams Family. This is going to be a terrifying one. Oh, not because it's scary, but because this movie's really bad. Alright, I'm getting off on the wrong foot. Let's talk about the good things. Because there are good things, right? First of all, the art style is pretty nice. It's very loyal to the source material that was the original comics. I really appreciate this trend with modern CG, where we try to stay true to the original source material and allows us to push the medium to its limits. Of course, there's always a place for lifelike animation, but sometimes we just need a little something more abstract. This is what animation is made for, after all. Also, the acting, for the most part, is pretty decent. Major props for Oscar Isaac as Gomez, because I couldn't even tell it was him. I swear, between Poe Dameron, Apocalypse, and now Gomez, I'm thoroughly convinced Oscar Isaac can play anyone. He's that talented. On the topic of sound, the score is surprisingly very good. It reminds me of Ratatouille at some points. And you know, if I'm comparing your score to Ratatouille, you know you've done good. There's some sort of foreign, energetic vibe to the music, which really fits the Addams Family. Alright, that's all the good parts, right? It is? Alright, let's tear this movie to shreds. Alright, I praised the art style, but I'm not praising the animation. The quality feels very cheap, almost like it's a direct-to-video movie. The texture, the lighting, the fur, none of it's really on par with what you would expect from a theatrical animated movie in 2019. You know, after these movies. You know what, I take back what I said about the direct-to-video movies, because I've seen some direct-to-DVD films that actually look really good. Like Tinkerbell. Yes, I saw Tinkerbell. Don't judge me. The visuals are more on par with, let's say, an early PS3 game. And yes, there are some movies that at face value look the same, like Hotel Transylvania, that I think look good. But here's the difference. Yes, Hotel Transylvania isn't what you would say Pixar quality in terms of its detail, but the fluidity and the energy in which the characters move, almost on par with a 2D animated film, really distract you from that. You become enamored by how creative it all is that detail no longer matters. The Addams Family, for the most part, doesn't do that. A lot of the movements are slow, deliberate, and not exactly exciting. It only really gets creative in the beginning and the end, and that's about it. A lot of it's walking, talking, and the occasional funny thing, if you can call it funny. Yeah, let's talk about the story. It's so boring. Practically nothing happens in this movie. It's so dull, it's so lifeless, and I'm saying this about the Addams Family, probably the most quirky and wacky family in pop culture history. Sure, there's technically a plot in here about normal people not accepting the weird and they don't like the Addams Family, blah blah blah, but even that doesn't take much precedence until the final act. So you're left with this middle act that feels like it's moving at a snail's pace. This movie's only an hour and a half long, but it felt like I was watching Endgame. Even when they add new characters throughout the story, it feels like they do nothing. Especially Cousin, played by Snoop Dogg? All he speaks in is high-pitched gibberish. Is there any point in casting Snoop Dogg for this role? This is a casting choice so pointless, it tops Sean Penn being a bird that only goes...
Are we speaking telepathically, or you're just...
And I'll be fine with a movie that goes incredibly slow if it gives me something to think about. Like if there's something subtle we can analyze throughout the movie's runtime about the family and their dynamic and their relationship. You know, like The Incredibles. But no, everything's heavy-handed and shoved down your throat about how explicit its messages are. The normal town is called Assimilation, with a song about being like everyone else. You know, when the Lego Movie made Everything Is Awesome, it was meant to be a parody of this trope. You know, it's like the Addams Family is trying to cobble together aspects from other, way more successful movies without understanding why they worked. Even when we get to the exciting final climax or we get to see the characters at their absolute wackiest, it only lasts like a minute. So yeah, there's absolutely nothing in this movie for you. And I mean nothing. Don't see it. You're better off seeing, like, anything else. Alright, I'm out. Let's just hope the next animated film won't be a stinker.